You ever look at your paycheck, see a number you used to dream about, and still feel this knot of anxiety in your stomach? It's a really weird paradox, right? The more you earn, the more it can feel like you're just treading water. On paper, you're a success. But in reality, you feel kind of financially frozen. Today, we're going to dig into why this happens and, more importantly, what you can actually do about it. I saw this quote on Reddit, and wow, it just completely nailed the feeling. You've got someone here with a great income, but they're still being haunted by the ghost of their very first salary, that old scarcity mindset. That little feeling of dread when you're about to make a big purchase, that whole emotional tug of war, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. So, how is that even possible? How can someone with a six-figure salary genuinely feel like they're just scraping by, unable to enjoy what they've earned without this heavy dose of guilt? It's a question a lot of us are asking. And the answer? Well, it's way more common and a lot more complex than you might think. Okay, to really get to the bottom of this, we need to talk about a very specific group of people. There's actually a name for this whole phenomenon, and you might be surprised to find out that you fit the description. Let's meet the Henrys. So, Henry, it's an acronym, and it stands for High Earners Not Rich Yet. It's a term that's actually been around since 2003, and it just perfectly describes this growing group of people who have the income, but they haven't built the wealth yet. They've got the salary, but they're totally missing the security. And this right here is the core of the problem. Henrys, they often earn well into the six figures, but as that income grows, so do their expenses. A bigger house, a nicer car, more expensive vacations. Their entire lifestyle just expands to meet their income, which leaves very little left over for things like savings or investments. It becomes this constant struggle to balance enjoying the here and now with building a truly secure future. So what's really driving this cycle? And why is it so incredibly hard to break free? Well, a huge part of the answer lies in something that most of us get wrong about our careers, this assumption that our income is just going to keep climbing steadily forever. The reality is a little different. This data, which is based on research from the financial expert Michael Kitz's, shows something pretty fascinating. The vast majority of our real inflation-adjusted raises happen when we're in our 20s and early 30s. That is our peak growth decade. After about age 35, that growth starts to slow way, way down. And then once you hit your 40s, for most people, income growth pretty much flatlines. And what's even worse, by the time you're in your 50s, your income often starts declining in real terms once you factor in inflation. And look, this isn't an opinion, it's a statistical reality, and getting your head around it is a complete game changer. So what does all this mean? It means that if your entire financial plan is built on this idea of, oh, I'll save more when I earn more, you are setting yourself up for a really painful surprise down the road. That strategy is just fundamentally flawed, because for most of us, those big raises simply aren't going to be there in our 40s and 50s. Okay, I know, that data can feel a little bleak. If we can't count on future raises to come save us, does that mean we're just stuck? No, not at all. It just means we've been playing the wrong game this whole time. The solution isn't about working harder for more raises, it's about fundamentally changing the way we think about our money. It's about moving from some checklist of financial to-dos to a really clear vision for the life we actually want to live. So over on the left, you see the kind of financial goals most of us are used to, right? Max out the 401k, spend less. They're tactical, but they're soulless. They don't really inspire you to do anything. But on the right, you have what Forbes calls a rich life vision. This is about defining what you actually want your money to do for you. Having Wednesdays back or living 30 minutes from an airport. I mean, these are the kinds of specific, tangible things that make a real difference in our day-to-day happiness. This all leads to this really powerful idea, work optional. Now, this isn't about retiring early just to go sit on a beach. It's about getting to a place where you work because you want to, not because you have to. It's about having the freedom to choose your projects, to choose your colleagues, and to choose your schedule. It's about owning your time. A vision is a fantastic first step, but let's be real, it's not enough on its own. You need a system to turn that vision into a reality. So how do you actually fund that work-optional life without having to pinch every single penny and feeling like you're constantly on some restrictive budget? Okay, so on the left is traditional budgeting. Pay your bills, spend on life, and then try to save whatever's left over. We all know how that usually works out, right? But on the right, you have something called reverse budgeting, a concept from Ramit Sethi. And it's so beautifully simple. You pay yourself first. You automate your savings and your investments, and then you are totally free to spend every single dollar that's left over, completely guilt-free. And the best part is that setting this up is incredibly easy. First, just look at your spending over the last few months to figure out what's a realistic amount to save. Then start small. You can always increase it later. The absolute key here is to automate it. Set up a recurring transfer for the day after you get paid so you never even see the money. And just make sure it's going where it needs to go: your retirement accounts, your savings, and your investments. This system is just so effective because it's a behavioral hack. See, traditional budgets fail because they rely on constant willpower, which always leads to decision fatigue. You just get tired of saying no all the time. Reverse budgeting takes willpower completely out of the equation. The saving is automatic. You literally pay your future self first. The money for your goals never even sits in your main checking account, which just short-circuits that impulse to spend it. This removes the guilt, it removes the stress, and it lets your wealth grow on autopilot. So as we wrap this up, I really want to leave you with this one question. Is your money just a number in a spreadsheet, a score in some game that you're playing? Or is it a tool to build the specific, rich, and meaningful life that you truly want? Is your financial plan just about accumulating wealth for some far-off future? Or is it about intentionally creating that life, starting right now?